Welcome to the Brave Healing Podcast. I'm Laura DeFranco, the CEO of Brave Healer Productions, where we have a mission to change the world one brave word at a time. And here to help me with that today are four of the amazing author experts of one of our upcoming books, Wholehearted Wonder Women, 50 Plus, Courage, Confidence, and Creativity at Any Age. Oh my gosh, I'm so excited to talk to you guys today. Please help me welcome Meredith Sims, Me Stresnitsky. I butchered it, didn't I? Oh my goodness. Okay, I'm going to say it again. Me Stresnitsky. There we go. Sandra Leone and Wanda Neasley. You guys and your names, I'm telling you. Welcome, ladies. How are you?
Hi.
Welcome.
Hi, fantastic.
Hi. Good to be
I'm
here.
happy to have you guys here today. Okay, so listeners, Meredith Sims is an independent financial advisor specializing in financial planning and socially responsible and impact investing. Me Stresnitsky is an artist and visionary leader, and she combines both to upgrade the future. Sandra Leone is the founder of Tao Heart Dimension, where they help you to remove energetic constraints in order to improve your well-being at a greater level. And Wanda Neasley is a leadership coach, executive mother of two, and a meditation teacher. So everybody will find all of the websites of these amazing women down below in the show notes for afterwards when it's time to go explore and take the next steps. And before we talk to the authors, let me just say a special thank you to Lulu Trevina. She is the lead author of this amazing book and project, and we would not be here without her. Lulu had a really cool vision to bring 50 plus women together to share their authentic stories and teach really life-changing tools. So I want to thank all of you authors next for saying yes and for just stepping up and saying, yeah, I'll share my vulnerable, raw, authentic, amazing story. But also, you know, it's one thing you guys to teach. You all are master teachers and you're used to having people there and telling them you know, what to do and how to do it and really guiding their journey. But it's quite another thing to put that in black and white in a book and make that a practical experience for the reader. And you all did it brilliantly. You're amazing. And I'm so grateful to you all for being in this project. So let's talk to Meredith first. Meredith, tell me about the beautiful chapter that you wrote.
Well, Laura, I wrote chapter 14, Inspired Wealth, and it was quite the journey writing that chapter. I'd never written a chapter before, so that was interesting. And really what the chapter is about is something that's been of interest to me for a long time. I mean, I'm a financial advisor, so obviously there are basics that one needs to know about money and how to use money. But what's always been of interest to me is people's relationship with money and how they use that to actually build like just a fabulous life. And the chapter is a little bit about that. It's about my own story and dealing with, you know, going through a phase of not having enough and having to really redefine my own relationship to money and how I use my money and what I really needed, frankly, and what brought me joy. So that's the story piece. And then the tool is a set of guidelines to help people become more connected to their money in a way that allows them to build wealth on their own terms. You know, everyone has a different expression of that. And so the one size fits all is not really workable, and I think it can sometimes send people down the wrong tunnel. I mean, they feel like they don't have enough, they get worried, they feel judged, they have a lot of shame around money, and what I'm inviting them to do is really just take charge and be in control of that for themselves and their own unique expression in their lives.
I love this topic, and excuse me, it seems like we get along in the journey of healing and self-discovery, and we do all of these beautiful things for ourselves in lots of different topics, and then there's money. And everybody seems to like come up against a brick wall with this topic. And I wonder if that resonates with you and what you think about that.
Yeah, I think that's one of the challenges, and that's one of the areas in which I'm always very interested to help, the women in particular that I deal with to move beyond that and think of money more as their platform, their foundation for expressing themselves in the world. So rather than actually siloing it, which is what happens a lot, embracing it and engaging with it because it is a tool to allow them to be powerful. And I don't mean powerful in the kind of dominating sense. I mean powerful in their own voices and in their own expression of who they are. And when you engage with money from that perspective and put aside the fear, and obviously that's a process. I think women can actually create and redefine their relationship in a way that supports themselves. And when they support themselves that way, they're better able to support their families, their communities, or whatever realm in which they want to be powerful.
I love that. I wrote something down that you just said. Money can be a platform to express your voice and yourself in the world. I think that right there is a game-changing perspective. And I've always come from a place of, money is awesome and it allows me to be generous.
It is.
Right? I mean,
yeah.
It's an energy. So when we shift the perspective, we can shift everything. But it seems like we've all had upbringings. Of course, we're all different. Mm-hmm. But a lot of us who are in this generation, in this 50 plus age group, we were taught some pretty crazy things about money that don't serve us anymore.
True. Yeah. And for the most part, I mean, everyone has a different upbringing, of course. We're not really taught about how to use money to our benefit, or even the basic rules of money. And so I think particularly in our age group, there's often some discomfort or some shame because we feel like we've made the wrong decisions or decisions that perhaps weren't smart. But in fact, we've been navigating money from really a place of not knowing and not having that initial guidance. I mean, some people obviously are raised in families where there's a lot of guidance around money, but a lot are not. People don't talk about it a lot. They don't talk about investing. They don't talk about how to grow money. And they certainly don't talk about using it in a way that is specifically designed to support having, the most beautiful life you can. Not like in the tangibles and in owning stuff, but in supporting, as I said, what brings forth the joy and the expression in one's life.
Yes, and what a game changer there. I can't remember, it may have even been Lulu who posted this, but it's hard to know. But did y'all see the post, forget Algebra 2,
yes.
give our kids finances 101 and balancing your checkbook and investing and all of the things, right?
It's so crazy
that
we still, to this day, do not learn any of those basics at school.
Yeah, so we have to be the ones, right? So we can, and I appreciate you writing about this topic. Thank you.
Oh, thank you, Laura. Thanks for the opportunity.
Me, you are next. Talk to us about your beautiful chapter.
Hi there, and thank you for this possibility. My chapter is a playful approach, or the tool in it is a playful approach to the possibilities one can add in everyday life to have more sensuousness and activate the creativity muscle, which has to be trained, as I saw, especially in the last year, that people are thirsting for sensuous experiences, and it's so this deep desire for beauty and lightness and playfulness as times have changed a lot. But this is just a peak. It was there before because our lives are stressy and full with things to do. But I am sure we could live. Life is not there to be serious. It's there to play. It's there to enjoy with everything. So this is kind of about. And I was trying to pack into my story all I have learned the last years. So I put it in one scene, which isn't quite true because it was many things I have felt. I have them felt or thought everything on my own, yes, but maybe not in one scene. So it is packed full with all the learnings and where I want to lead my clients and people to approach, to discover themselves, and to go deeply inside of them and find themselves and live them fully out. Because I think if you find the beauty and in the lightness and within yourself, our world would look very different because you go out and have different ideas about it and different ideas about life and change a lot.
Yes.
And inspire us. Yeah.
I love this energy of play. And I think that we all have to remember that who we are, what we are being energetically is also what we attract. So who wouldn't want more fun?
Yes.
Right? Yeah. Talk to me about that. Are you a law of attraction gal?
I am a connected girl. I felt this from childhood on. There was a bigger thing I was attached to, and the independence of all parts of life. And when I got in touch with Tai Chi for the first time when I was 12 or something, and they moved energy, and I thought, yes, I know this. I know this is possible all my life, and somebody's telling it's true. So this was, and so I got, I learned a lot of skills, methods, tools, got collected certifications, and I put it into my art, and I put my artwork into my working with people, and as a logical consequence, I do finances and project managing. Because I think finances is the most esoterical thing I've met in all the tools. And it is about playfulness as well. Just don't be so serious with things. They unfold much easier, and just enjoy. Yeah, that's.
We were having a discussion about, when did you forget how to play? And I often think that there's another age that's not the 50 plus group, but there's another age. And I'm thinking about myself, maybe 20s, maybe 30s, where I forgot. And I think we'll have to think about another kind of book to make sure people don't forget to play and keep that theme throughout your life, right? What a miracle that would be.
Yeah. And it's a constant developing and learning and remembering. And this is what I want to invite people to do, to come back to this origin feeling and have that wow, when you see something which is marveling you. And this I want to bring back to people as an entrance to go further and to try more things and experience. Yeah.
Yeah, beautiful. Thank you, Mi.
Thank you.
Sandra, talk to me about your beautiful chapter.
Yes, I wrote chapter number 22, and it was so interesting because being a Tao master on my way, 22 means a lot to me because it has a lot of sense in terms of numerology as well. So it means the master builder. And this brought me back to really realizing that we have so many synchronicities in life. And that's what I always was on my path, to look out for synchronicities. And in my chapter, I write about my journey having committed to a new way and leaving behind old restrictions, blocks, and all kinds of stuff that really were blocking myself. And going on that very interesting journey over the last 25 years, learning from all the masters, studying energy and flow, and of course also money flow, was one of the most amazing things that I was onto. And yeah, today, one of my specialties is to create and work with heart energy, and in terms of manifesting all kinds of things that we desire in life. Always leads us back to energy, as we were already mentioning before. And so that's such an interesting topic. How can we increase our energy? How can we step into our unique power and believe in ourselves and to step in our own heart energy, understanding that we are the center of our universe, so that we are the powerful creator of our life. So that's what I was always about, and that's all my work is about. And the story as well, and also my tool leads to a discovery how people can really tap into their manifestation power. Really connecting to their heart and understanding that it's very important nowadays to really own your energy, and that we are the creators of our destiny, and that we are not powerless human beings, but that we are absolutely in control of our life.
Was there a moment, Sandra, when you realized you had to make a switch? Like maybe it wasn't, you weren't in the flow and you recognized a bit of a wake-up call?
Absolutely. I remember it like it was yesterday. I was 33. I was very at ease in my life in a way, having reached all those kinds of things that we always think that we want to achieve. I was married, had a beautiful home, and had a very beautiful child. But what was lacking in my life was purpose and passion, and really something I could contribute to really give value to this world. And I really ended up being kind also like a people pleaser, really, always looking for the needs for others, until it got really bad. And I had a real breakdown with 33, which is at a really young age in a way. But that was really necessary to lead me on a new way and to make a commitment and to contribute for my life, to find my purpose, to find my soul purpose, and also to help so many other people as I do today, helping so many visionary entrepreneur women to really find their purpose and to support them on very high energetic levels. So this was really an absolute turnaround, which was great for me.
I think that there are many of us who are 50 plus, in particular, this generation of women who checked off all the boxes and somewhere in the middle of that realized they still weren't happy and they couldn't figure out why, because they had done everything that they were told to do that was supposed to make them happy, right? And in my own case, very much exactly like that. And the wake-up call for me was understanding that I had never given myself permission to understand what I truly wanted and desired. I was only going by what I was taught should make me happy. And that was such a moment for me in my life. It changed everything from there on out. Not saying it was all fun, because once you realize that, then you have to make some pretty interesting decisions about what you're going to do about it. But I think that this is something where probably I see some head nods as something that we all kind of get, right? I appreciate you writing about that, Sandra. Thank you. Wanda, talk to me about your amazing chapter.
Thank you, Laura. So I wrote chapter 19, Trusting Self First, Manifesting the Relationships You Dream of. And this chapter is really about two things: what I learned when I made a journey back to myself. And that really involved truly accepting myself for who I was. So accepting that I was perfectly imperfect, that I could love all parts of myself, even those less than perfect aspects of myself. And so the tool really focuses on what are some of the things, what are some of the steps that you can take to make this journey back to yourself. So you're manifesting your relationships from that point of view. So it's in knowing yourself on the inside, and then that will help you manifest what you want on the outside. And for me, this was quite the journey. And I would say it was pretty messy, all the way down from a pretty big breakdown in my early 40s to really, taking that time to learn about who I was, who I really am, and taking a stand for myself, which meant I changed, virtually almost all of my relationships from that position of self first and self love, rather than trying to please others or trying to be perfect or trying to control the outside with dysfunctional type of behavior. So I really love to work with individuals and teams and organizations who recognize this inside first is the best way to develop in terms of leadership. And I love those opportunities that I can work with not only individuals, but organizations who recognize that if we focus on the inside, on all of these growth opportunities and on self-love, we're going to have a tremendously positive impact on those around us, whether it be other team members or reaching the goals of the organization. So that bringing all of those things together was a really interesting part of this journey for me. I've always been attracted to writing. And so this was a really wonderful opportunity to work with all of these amazing women and learn from them in the process, and work with you, Laura, in terms of how do you go about writing something that's meaningful and can touch people. So I'm just really grateful that I had that opportunity as well.
All that piece is my absolute favorite piece, is having those real stories come alive in the writing. Is definitely an art and a skill that you all stepped up to the plate for. Seriously, did an amazing job. So you said something a minute ago, manifest. It would be great if we could manifest our relationships from that place of the true authentic self, that and it sometimes takes a lifetime to get to her. And so that's okay, right? We need to practice that radical self-compassion. Like, it's okay, however long it took, it's okay, however you got there. But it's just making me realize that there's probably a lot of stuff that we manifested from a not so authentic place, from that place of perfectionism and comparisonitis and all of those things, right? Yeah. Talk to me about that. Talk to me about that a little bit more.
I think what I learned about that was that previous to having my breakdown and then moving to a breakthrough, I was manifesting a lot of things from a victim mindset. So that's not kind of that empowered self-love position. And I was unconscious about quite a bit of that. And so as I made that journey back into myself, and, it was a real combination of what I learned from my executive coaching practice, being present with myself, taking a stand for myself, creating a pristine energy field for myself, and really learning to feel my own feelings. I was really good at thinking about my feelings and not allowing myself to process those feelings. And so, of course, we don't want to act out on our feelings, but we really need to know them and acknowledge them, because there's so much wisdom there in terms of what we need to do for ourselves. And then I would say the final aspect that I had to do quite a bit of work on before I could manifest from that self-first position was forgiving myself. We often talk about having to forgive others, which is, of course, very important, but really the process of myself learning to forgive myself and what I thought were my faults or my feelings or where I went wrong was the thing that really helped me to be free to be myself and manifest from that unconditional self-love.
I love that. Yes. Thank you for that. So, okay, I'm going to stick with you, Wanda, for this next question. I'm coming around to all of you with this one, okay? Wanda, what is the best thing about being 50 plus?
Oh, the best thing. There's so many great things.
I know. Pick one. Pick one for now.
I would say the best thing is just the confidence that I have now. And I think that is because I've had the years of the journey. I've taken a fall. I know that I can rise after the fall. And just being able to help other people with that, to be in service and to share some of that knowledge and see other people rise too and get to know themselves and manifest from that place of self-love. That is my favorite part of being 51.
I love it. Thank you. Sandra, how about you? What's the best thing for you about being 50 plus?
Best thing for me is that I have become aware that it's advisable to make peace with everything that there is. And this allows us to take the best and leave the rest. And that's so very precious in our lives, and for me especially. And to really commit to what is good for us and to find out. And we might then also overthink our profession, our relationships, our environments where we live. But it really puts us in a place where we can be the creator of our future and really make the best out of it. So it gives us a lot of freedom as well. We can really dare to dream big and pursue our dreams. And if we listen deep into ourselves, we find what is important for us and we can take action towards it. And as manifestation goes from a point of very heart-centered, being very heart-centered as well, it's gonna be very lightful as well and speed up for us. And that's what it makes so exciting and it's such a thrilling journey.
Thank you, Sandra. I don't know about you guys, but I loved that Lulu had us call ourselves out with our age in the chapters. I've never had a problem saying how old I was because I've never felt the number. It was always just an energy to me. So, I don't mind saying it. So I love that she had us do that. Me, how about you? What's the best part about being 50 plus?
As Dara mentioned already, a lot of them, I think freedom, the freedom to choose. We have seen and proved and survived so many things. So, and we don't have to prove ourselves so much. We know things already or situations and we don't have to try, but we can choose to interact and how we interact. And I confess, I really love playing out the kind of being the elder woman, because who's going to stop me? I can do whatever I want now. And because nobody's judging that, I am judged already as older. And so I go for everything I want to. And this is, without fear. And I think braveness, is it a word? is increasing with the age. Because
for sure.
For
I
love this.
Right on.
And if you hear that, listeners, if you hear that from me and you're like, well, I don't know about that, me, like I have aged and I still have a lot of fear. Well, y'all are in really good company here with all of these authors and this book, because we're going to be moving you through that to these beautiful feelings that the authors are talking about, why it feels so good to be 50 plus. I agree with all of you so far. Meredith, how about you?
Well, I think everyone has touched on the idea of freedom. I think for me, and you mentioned, finding that self within. I mean, that is a lifelong journey, right? But I really feel that has accelerated in my 50s, and it's partly because there's this realization that we grow up in these structures and rules that are not even realized, these constraints that are unseen. And what I've discovered in my 50s, and I'm 60 now, so I'm into the next decade, is that as every year passes, I just become more and more aware of what other external constraints I've been operating inside of, and are better able to just disentangle myself from those, and really live authentically to, well, what makes a difference for Meredith, and as others have mentioned, what is my contribution in the world? Because at the end of the day, that's why I'm on my particular journey, is I want to express my gifts in a way that actually makes a difference for others as well.
I love that, Meredith. Yes, to that for sure. I love listening to all of you talk about this. I love being in the energy of what is the best thing about it. And I love that y'all agree that there's so many great things about being older, right? And it's just funny to think about when we were in our maybe 20s or 30s and starting to look at people and call them old. And like how that goes down, and I'm like, oh, just wait. So me, I'm going to start with you for this next question. We have a lot of women listening who are in the middle of wanting to make these dreams of theirs come true. And maybe there are some fears, maybe there are some doubts about all of that. So what would be some advice that you would give them today about making their dreams come true?
It's an old-fashioned cliche, but follow them. Just do it. Follow your heart, because the fears are coming maybe from the part, what do others think about us? How do we impact our beloved when we follow our dreams? But as far as I know, yes, we do impact them, but in a very different way we might think in our fear, because it's impacting them good. As we are following our dreams, we are completely or are aligned and living us out in a true way, then we impacting others by inspiring and sending content, energy, and being happy, and this spreads. And therefore, just don't think so much. Just do. Be.
I am with you on that one. Don't think so much. Just go for it. I like that. Wanda, how about you? What advice would you give to the women listening who maybe still be stuck a little bit in the doubt or the fear?
That's a really great question. I really think that my advice would be to be quiet and go within. And I know sometimes that's really hard in our world. It's all about getting things done and deadlines and timelines and doing things that others are asking you to do. So I would say, really ask yourself what you need and get in touch with that. And then similar to what Me said, I think that it's really important to go to the heart. Sometimes and I know this really well, trained to be very analytical, be in the intellect, And that's only going to get you so far. So if you get it to your heart and really understand what your soul's purpose is, what your purpose is in life, that you resonate with is going to take you a long way.
Yes, getting in touch with that language of your soul. The only way there is to get still and get quiet and practice listening. It's a practice. I will say that to anyone. It's you can have a really intense wake up moment, and then it's a practice. So all of the interesting things can happen along that journey. Meredith, how about you? What's some advice you would give somebody in that still
Well, I
stuck a
think,
little?
everyone has touched on this. It starts with an awareness. And I think sometimes it can seem like a really big hurdle to move from one place to another. But for me, it's about checking in, really for every choice that one makes in life, and in particularly in terms of doing for others, because I think that's a trap that a lot of us women fall into. We spend so much time doing for others, and we completely forget about what makes our heart sing. And me said, connect to your heart. Well, how do you do that if you're so busy doing for others? And so, as Wanda said, taking the time to really check in on our choices. And it can start with little baby steps, like just reclaiming time for yourself, I think, is a big thing. So there is time to even reflect on what makes a difference, noticing the how you're reacting, like out of your head and into your heart. And I'm right there with you, Wanda, on that, being very analytical as well. Checking in on how something feels. Does this feel good or does it not feel good? And someone once told me to ask this question, which I use quite a lot now, which is, asking, is this for my highest good? So, and just hearing, a direct yes or no to that. And I mean, that takes a little bit of practice and awareness and carving out space for oneself. But yeah, and take baby steps. It doesn't have to be one huge leap, and it can be.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It can be both things. I love that. Thank you, Meredith. Sandra, how about you?
Yeah, I totally agree. It's really about going back into stillness and taking time for ourselves to just be. And for me, there were moments when a walk in nature, in calmness, really helped me to reconnect to universe, to myself, and to really get back into my own power. And I absolutely totally resonate with all the other women, because it's all about our inner self and how we can connect to ourselves. And I also think that our souls came on this earth again to upgrade us and our souls again. So that's, for me, this shows me that we never can be redeemed from life, from anybody, and we cannot dismiss anything that our souls want. So this makes it much easier for us as well, at least for me, to say, okay, then I really take the task and I contribute and I go for it. And it's also very interesting to really see this from an aspect of the feminine power from this side, and to act from feeling and not from the logic mind. And I'm absolutely also convinced that we will use this much more in future times, that we have really to feel what there is and to connect to our feelings. And those feelings will guide us very, very strongly to find our way and to go on our path, and really to trust what's coming in. And our intuition will really guide us what's up and what's coming along our way. And great possibilities will come our way when we can really be calm, centered, and really reconnect to ourselves and to nature.
I love that, Sandra. Also, the idea of making the time is really a big one. Just giving yourself permission to have the time to sit with yourself, breathe and meditate and be. I love that. So Sandra, I'm going to stay with you for this last question. I'm coming around to all of you for, and you mentioned my favorites in terms of this next question, which is, you know, self-care is a really hot topic. We see this everywhere. It's talked about all the time at this point. And I think we are finally to the place where we can all agree this is a necessity, not a luxury. This is something, especially for those who serve, that is a complete necessity. So we take care of ourselves so that we can serve from an overflow and we don't get drained or burned out ourselves, right? What good are we if we do that? So Sandra, I want to know, the one that you mentioned, the walk in nature, is one of my favorite, but what is one of your favorite ways to take care of yourself? Maybe you have another one besides the nature.
Well, it is movement and it is breath work, because, you know, our body is the vehicle that carries us through life at the end. And the smoother it runs, the smoother we can focus on our dreams and desires, and we're not held back by our body. And that's what we often forget about all the stress and all the tasks that we have and all the producing in our life. But it's essential to really nourish our body every day, and to rest, to move, to laugh. Laughing is so healing. Together with other women, spending time with them means a lot to me, and it's so valuable. And of course, practical things like drinking plenty of water and having a nice environment, of course, is very, very important. It makes us feel vibrant and it inspires us and it gives us so many great ideas, and we can really, again, relax, which is really one of the most important things. We can only create great things when we are in a complete relaxed state of heart and mind. And so this all comes together. It leads back to us, how we treat ourselves and how we nourish ourselves, and how we resonate will resonate back to us again, and that's the whole game. And that's so thrilling for me, and I was on this journey for the last 20 years to discover this, and will still go on to discover it. So it's again, we are the center of our universe.
Thank you so much, Sandra. Meredith, how about you? What's one favorite way that you take care of yourself?
Well, lately I have been endeavoring to implement what I call my Sacred Sunday. And it's a day I try very hard not to have anything on my agenda. And so no appointments with anyone. And I mean, I'm an introverted extrovert, so I love engaging with people to my detriment at times. And so this is a day where I don't look at my phone, I'm not on the computer, and I might choose to do some work, but it's all a choice. I call it waking up and following my nose, which I guess is a doggy expression, but and it just brings me such joy. You know, I'll go out in the garden and I'll probably walk around a lot and do very little, but occasionally I actually work in the garden. I like to garden. That's my easy way of getting outside. And I just feel so much peace when I give myself the permission, as you mentioned, to really disengage and just be in my own creative space and see where that leads me. So that's my current practice. I mean, I have a daily practice, as I'm sure everyone does, of connection in the morning, but that's my new one. That's really, really helpful, I think, for me.
I love it. I'm walking with you in that garden as you're talking about it. It's beautiful. Wanda, how about you? What's a favorite way that you take care of yourself?
I'm going to build on something that Meredith said. And I learned this in my meditation work and when I became a meditation teacher. And that's really to truly understand that our bodies are a holy, sacred temple. And so we really need to take care of our bodies. And so what I do, what I practice, and what I have been very consistent with is the early morning time. So I take that time, that first hour of the morning, and I either go for a walk or I just sit and meditate. And it's that still time, that quiet time I have with myself. And what I've learned is I get these beautiful downloads of information when I make that space for myself. And the second thing I'll say, because I'm working on this, and we all know this is a journey, is that I think the other piece of self-care is really, creating that community of people that I want around me and leaning into that and asking for help from that community. And I have to practice this because it's part of, my upbringing around being independent, but there's such a magic, there's such beauty when you have that community of women. I'm really, working on developing this so that I have those people that I can reach out to. And that's another way that I'm taking care of myself right now.
I love that. So important, and have been basking in this wholehearted Wonder Women community as one of those. I love it. How about you, me? Last but not least, what's a favorite way that you take care of yourself?
I can agree with all of them before. True, because they are pretty and well, but I tend to define it a bit broader because self-care is caring for myself. So I want to care for myself in every moment. So I try to be good to me and to please me. And I learned that better and better over the years, and how I can feel myself good begins from wearing clothes that feel good more than maybe look good or something. Sometimes, and I change because sometimes it might be pampering my body with creams and scents and all that, and sensuous experiences. Or my favorite is traveling, because I am the movement outside, when you sit in a train and the landscape is passing, brings me to a stillness inside, and I can wander, let my thoughts wander and think. And I'm in movement. I have my best ideas and my visions, and learning is one of my favorite things. So I have myself a little nap every day, and looking some YouTube videos or trying to find cool new things I can try out myself. And so this is my favorite latest practices.
I love it. I love everything that you all talked about. Recently for me, I realized how quickly I was running through the morning routine in the bathroom. And I was like grabbing my lotion and just trying to get it done and getting myself ready and going, right? And so one of the little ways that I have been taking care of myself is to slow that train way down, the lotion on the body train. So now I take that lotion and I start down near my ankles and I move my way up, and I just love on my actual body while I'm working that lotion and moisturizing myself, which we all need to do for good skin, right? And I've just been smiling about that in the morning. It really changed the energy of my bathroom time. Authors, amazing women, thank you so much for what you do in the world and for being here to share it today with everybody.
Thank you, Laura. Thank you, everyone.
So please remember, listeners, that you can drop down into the show notes and you're going to find the websites for everybody here. You can take that next step, go explore their world. If something that one of the authors said to you today just really was buzzing in you, resonating, then go ahead and explore and see what they're up to. And of course, if you're interested in this topic, we are going to be having our Wholehearted Wonder Women 50 Plus book launch party on June 8th on our Brave Healer Productions Facebook page. Yes, it's going to be 9:30 Eastern. Please come. We're going to have all of our authors there sharing their wisdom, plus some pretty cool giveaways that we'll do for our book purchasers that day. And of course, if you're listening to this after June 8th, well, then that means you got to hop over to Amazon right now and grab your copy of the book. But one more thing I don't want to forget is that for a little bit of after hours connection with our authors, don't forget to join the Wholehearted Wonder Women 50 Plus global community on Facebook. I've got that link down here in the show notes for you as well. This is where you can come in and ask the authors questions and rub elbows with them. And maybe you have something you wanted to talk about that you read in their chapter. So they are there waiting for you. And it's an incredible community. As you all were talking about, having that community is so important. So lastly today, everybody, I want you to remember you were born, so you're worthy. Your message matters. What if the thing you're still a little afraid to share is exactly what someone needs to hear to change or even save their life? It's time to be brave. See you next time, everybody. Thank you, ladies.
Bye.
I
Take care.